The stage lights were a searing white, but nothing burned as hot as the skepticism in Simon Cowell's eyes as he leaned forward, his thumb hovering over the big red buzzer that could end a dream in an instant. A young man named Rico walked out, clutching a ukulele that looked like a toy in his calloused hands. He wore a faded t-shirt and jeans, looking like he had just come from a construction site. Simon barely glanced at the cue card, his posture screaming boredom before a single note was played. Rico took a breath that seemed to draw the oxygen out of the entire auditorium. "I'm going to play a song," he said, his voice soft, almost swallowed by the hum of the air conditioning. "It's a song my grandmother used to sing to me." The audience offered a polite, tepid applause, but Simon just rolled his eyes, convinced he was about to witness another caterwauling disaster. Then, Rico's fingers began to move. But they didn't strum the simple chords of a lullaby. Instead, they flew across the fretboard with a speed and precision that was impossible to process. He was playing a blistering flamenco melody, his thumb dancing a bass line while his fingers tapped and plucked a cascade of notes that sounded like a full orchestra being born. It was a percussive, melodic explosion that seemed to quadruple the tempo of reality itself. The crowd gasped, a collective intake of breath that was sucked back in as Rico launched into a vocal performance that defied physics. He opened his mouth, and a sound that was part soulful croon, part high-pitched whistle, and part beatbox erupted. He was creating a loop of sound, layering his own voice to form a choir of one, all while his hands never stopped attacking the ukulele. Simon's hand froze in midair, his thumb landing back on the desk. The boredom was gone, replaced by a look of utter, jaw-dropped confusion. He squinted, as if trying to solve a magic trick. The performance was a whirlwind of rhythm and emotion. Rico seamlessly transitioned from the frantic flamenco into a soulful melody, his voice cracking with raw emotion as he sang about a home across the sea. Midway through, the music suddenly stopped. He held a single, hauntingly high note, his chest heaving. The audience was silent, not knowing if he was finished. But it was a trap. He slammed his palm against the ukulele's body, producing a booming percussion sound, and launched into a rapid-fire freestyle rap about his mother, a line cook who worked 2 jobs to send him to school. The lyrics were blistering, a vivid painting of poverty, sacrifice, and unyielding hope. He spoke of his grandmother's memory, his mother's cracked hands, and the Filipino dream that burned brighter than the sun. The crowd erupted, a wave of cheers and applause that washed over the judge's desk. Simon Cowell slowly put his hands together in a deliberate, odd clap, a smirk of sheer disbelief replacing his earlier frown. Then came the twist. As Rico took a breath, the stage manager rushed over and whispered in the host's ear. The host's face went pale. The host announced that there had been a mistake with the sound system, and the backing track they thought Rico was using had been silent the entire time. There was no track. It was all him. Every layer of sound, every beat, every echo, was produced in real time by one human being with a ukulele and his voice. The revelation sent the audience into a frenzy. Simon Cowell stood up, a gesture of ultimate respect he rarely afforded anyone. He didn't speak, he just pointed at Rico, a silent command of, "Are you serious?" But the final twist was yet to come. As the applause finally died down, Simon asked the question everyone wanted to know. "Who taught you to do that?" Rico looked down at his ukulele, a sad smile playing on his lips. "I learned it from my sister," he said, his voice trembling for the first time. "She was born deaf. She could never hear my grandmother sing. So I learned to play the music. I learned to make her feel it. The vibrations on her hands when I play, the rhythm she sees in my eyes. That's my language." He explained that his sister, Maria, had suffered a severe illness that left her blind as well a few years ago. She could neither see nor hear, but she could feel the bass of his foot tapping. This performance wasn't just about winning a competition, it was about proving to his sister that her life was more than her limitations, that her very existence was his greatest inspiration. The camera panned to the wings, where a young woman sat in a wheelchair, tears streaming down her face, a wide smile that told the world she understood every single emotion. Simon Cowell walked onto the stage, put his hand on Rico's shoulder, and turned to the camera. His voice was barely a whisper. "That," he said, "is why we do this." He didn't need to say, yes. The golden buzzer had already been pressed by a fellow judge, sending golden confetti raining down on a man who had just proven that talent isn't just about what you hear, but what you feel. The audience was weeping, the judges were stunned, and a young man from a small Filipino village had just broken every rule of the competition. Thank you so much for watching this unbelievable story. Before you go, I have one simple question for you. Where are you watching this video from? Let us know in the comments below. Tell us your country and city. We read every single one, and we love seeing how far this story travels.